Welcome to the Red Tech AI Podcast, your daily source for the latest news in the global radio broadcast and digital audio industries. I'm your host, Marguerite Clark, and today we have a packed episode filled with exciting updates. From significant survey findings in Australia to upcoming international events, we have a lot to cover. Let's dive right in. First up, the Infinite Dial 2024 Australia report has just been released, and it brings some fascinating insights into the Australian audio landscape. According to the report, radio continues to be the audio medium of choice for over 80% of Australians. This 8th annual report, presented in a webinar by Edison Research President Larry Rosen and Commercial Radio and Audio Chief Commercial Officer Joe Dick, highlights that Australian radio's reach is 5 times larger than ad-supported music streaming services like Spotify. In fact, only 1/3 of Spotify listeners are reachable by advertising, underscoring the dominant position of radio in the market. Joe Dick noted that more than 8 out of 10 Australians are tuning into radio, with significant engagement across all demographics. This demonstrates that Australia is a world leader in radio listening. The number of 25 to 54-year-olds listening to radio online has more than doubled in the past 3 years, showing that audiences are increasingly integrating radio into their digital lifestyles. Dick emphasized that Australian radio continues to strengthen its presence, delivering content to audiences whenever and wherever they choose to listen. Larry Rosen added that the Infinite Dial 2024 Australia study showcases the strong global position of the Australian audio industry. With robust engagement across different platforms, including traditional AM, FM, and DAB+ radio, as well as online radio and podcasts, the findings underscore the industry's ability to adapt and innovate. This adaptability ensures that listeners have access to diverse and compelling audio content. One of the standout statistics from the report is that radio remains the top choice for in-car listening, with 88% of Australians using it as an audio source while on the road. In-car streaming radio listening has also seen a significant rise, increasing by 75% over the past 2 years. Joe Dick highlighted the importance of working with both government and industry to ensure that radio remains easily and reliably accessible in connected cars and on smart speakers. The report also revealed that smart speaker ownership in Australia has doubled in the last 4 years, now matching United States adoption rates. 65% of smart speaker owners have listened to audio content through these devices in the past month, demonstrating the growing integration of smart technology in everyday life. These findings collectively affirm the robust health and future potential of the Australian radio and audio industry. Next, let's talk about an upcoming event that's making waves in the podcasting world. The International Women's Podcast Festival has just announced its lineup of speakers and workshops for this year's event, scheduled to take place in central London on October 3rd and 4th. Hosted by Content is Queen in partnership with Spotify, the 2-day festival aims to unite the global community of female innovators and leaders in podcasting, audio, and broadcasting. Now in its 4th year, the International Women's Podcast Festival will feature live podcast shows, masterclasses, and curated workshops designed to accelerate careers and enhance audio skills. Event organizers say attendees can look forward to sessions with the creators behind some of the world's most popular podcasts, as well as networking events with podcasters and producers from around the globe. The festival promises a wide array of informative and inspirational sessions. For example, attendees can gain practical tips on building an engaged community from Renee Kapuku and Courtney Daniela Boateng of the podcast To My Sisters. Producer and presenter Mira Kumar will lead a workshop on podcast formats, and Jenny Becker from Sliding Doors will offer insights on booking great guests. Other notable sessions include elevating interview podcasts with Golda Arthur from Radio Gold Productions and improving podcast sound quality with audio producer and educator Lisa Hack. Kate Mander and Danny Murphy from Just Add Joy will offer a session on creating brilliant ads, while Kelsey Morgan from Lawful Creators will discuss protecting intellectual property. For those looking to start a podcast from scratch, Pilar Nalwimba and Raj Pander from the upcoming podcast On to the Next One will share their strategies for growing a large, engaged audience. Additionally, Ella Watts, head of production at Six to Start, will direct a session on audio theatrics, bringing her expertise as the queen of audio drama. Renee Kapuku highlighted the festival's significance, saying, "This festival is where women can amplify their stories and voices. I'm excited to join a phenomenal lineup of women to discuss the potential in the podcast space." Content is Queen event producer Kat Molesworth added, "The impact of the International Women's Podcast Festival lasts throughout the year. When I first attended as a guest in 2018, the connections and ideas I took away from the event catapulted my career. Until you're in the room, you can't really understand the value of bringing women in the industry together to share their ideas, expertise, and knowledge. In other news, the Italian community radio station RLV La Radio, a Colori, has partnered with the water resource education network Il Pianeta Azzurro, also known as the Blue Planet, to launch a new program titled A Drop a Day. Andrea Ferrari Tricate, an environmental communication expert and editor at Il Pianeta Azzurro, will spearhead this initiative. Starting today, July 8th, A Drop a Day will be broadcast daily from Monday through Friday at 8:10 a.m. The entire week's broadcasts will then be rebroadcast as a single program on Sundays from 2:10 p.m. to 3 p.m. Founded in 2003, Il Pianeta Azzurro has been dedicated to popularizing hydrobiology issues and initiatives that focus on global water resources. They achieve this through various publications, a book series, their website, and related social media networks. Their communication and environmental education projects target parks, reserves, sports groups, environmental associations, teachers, and students. This partnership with RLV aims to further their mission by reaching a broader audience through radio. RLV, which is headquartered in Levanto, a renowned seaside resort along the Italian Riviera, began broadcasting in 1976 under the name Radio Levanto. In the 1980s, the station expanded its reach and rebranded as Radio Levanto Valdivara, eventually shortening its name to the current acronym RLV and adopting the identity La Radio a Colori. Known for its vibrant and diverse programming, RLV continues to be a staple in the local community. The new program, A Drop a Day, will cover a wide range of topics including ecology, environmental education, biology, and environmental protection issues. By featuring daily segments on these critical subjects, the program aims to educate and engage listeners on the importance of water conservation and environmental stewardship. Andrea Ferrari Tricate, who will drive the project, brings a wealth of knowledge and passion to the table, ensuring that each episode is both informative and inspiring. The collaboration between RLV and Il Pianeta Azzurro represents a significant step forward in environmental communication. By leveraging the reach and influence of radio, the initiative hopes to foster a greater awareness and understanding of water-related issues among the general public. Listeners can look forward to insightful discussions, expert interviews, and practical tips on how to contribute to water conservation efforts in their own communities. Finally, we turn our attention to a significant shift happening across Europe. Medium wave, also known as AM radio, is gradually disappearing from European airwaves, a trend that might extend globally in the coming years. On April 1st, the British Broadcasting Corporation shut down the 9 transmitters that had previously brought BBC Radio 4 in AM to listeners throughout the United Kingdom. This move is part of a broader plan to phase out AM transmissions entirely by 2027. In recent years, British commercial broadcasters have also followed suit, with Bauer Media ceasing all AM operations. The United Kingdom is one of the last strongholds for AM transmission in Europe. Over the past 15 years, more than 20 European countries have decommissioned their AM transmitters, including Austria in 2008, Switzerland in 2010, Ireland in 2012, Germany in 2015, and Belgium in 2018. Currently, fewer than 100 AM services remain active across the continent. However, a few countries like Estonia, Greece, Hungary, Poland, Portugal, Romania, and Spain still maintain AM broadcasts, though often at reduced power levels. Several factors contribute to the decline of AM radio in Europe. First, the audience has steadily migrated to FM and digital platforms, which offer better sound quality and a more diverse range of content. In Spain, for instance, AM was overtaken by FM in terms of daily reach as early as 1985 and by online radio in 2013. Today, only about 1.2% of the Spanish population older than 13 years listens to AM radio daily. Additionally, new radio devices in modern cars, especially electric ones, are increasingly being manufactured without AM tuners, making it more challenging for listeners to access these broadcasts. Another contributing factor is cost. AM transmitters typically use high-power towers, leading to significantly higher energy bills compared to FM and DAB+ networks. As the number of AM listeners dwindles, the cost per listener becomes unsustainable. Coupled with growing concerns about the carbon footprint of AM transmitters, many broadcasters find it increasingly difficult to justify maintaining AM services. While AM radio is witnessing a decline in Europe, it remains essential in other parts of the world. In countries like Australia, Argentina, and the United States, AM continues to play a crucial role due to its broad coverage. For example, the United States still has over 4,400 licensed AM services and more than 82 million monthly listeners. However, even in these regions, signs of decline are emerging. In Australia, the weekly reach of AM radio dropped from 30% in 2019 to 23% in 2023, and several regional stations have switched to FM or ceased AM transmissions altogether. In the United States, efforts are underway to keep AM radio relevant. The Federal Communications Commission's AM revitalization plan aims to ease the relocation of medium-wave sites and allow FM repeaters to retransmit AM signals, ensuring that medium-wave licensees remain viable. Moreover, a bill requiring all new motor vehicles to include an AM tuner is currently making its way through the Senate. Ultimately, while AM radio still holds significance in many parts of the world, its future in Europe looks bleak. As more countries turn off their AM transmitters, the trend may soon spread globally. The transition away from AM radio marks the end of an era, but it also opens the door for new technologies and platforms to shape the future of audio broadcasting. And that wraps up today's episode of the RedTech AI podcast. Thank you for joining us as we explored the latest developments in the global radio broadcast and digital audio industries. From the enduring popularity of radio in Australia to the innovative initiatives making waves in podcasting and environmental communication, it is clear that audio remains a dynamic and evolving medium. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for more updates. Until then, I am Marguerite Clark, signing off.